capybaras in here, and Steph's possibility of wanting to get one. Hal apparently has worked in, what was that I was watching?
It's a channel called Wild Utopia. I've been working with them for about a year, and they do a lot of primarily underwater creatures, and then they have some of the above water, like the capybara, and that was a feature we did.
Yeah, and as soon as you mentioned it, I get this thing in my on my phone from Hal. It's a video of him narrating this thing about this huge animal. By the way, you do not want a capybara.
No, I don't think so. It's bigger than I thought it was.
They're over 100 pounds in some cases. They're very, very big, Hal.
Yep.
And
but they're friendly.
They seem very friendly, and according to Hal's little feature that I was just watching, where can people see this, Hal? We're going to put this up on our Facebook page, but where can they see it?
Go to YouTube and just dial up Wild Utopia. There are several different features that we have up there.
And they would look for a capybara, and you'll see one that Hal's doing. But this thing is huge. It would eat my dogs.
So.
But they're vegetarians, so you don't have to worry about that. But they are a very large rodent.
Hal, how many parallel universes do you live in?
How many of did you do the one about ravens talking? Did you know ravens can talk?
We didn't do one about talking ravens, no.
There's a tease for that, and I was wondering if maybe you had something to do with that. But anyway, so Hal's capybara bit will be up on our Facebook page a little bit later on. 103.9 The Fox. Hello out there.
Good morning, Johnny. How you doing, buddy?
Good. What's up?
Hey, so I was listening to you guys talk about that giant-sized rodent there.
Yeah.
And I did a little quick research. There's a place in New Era, Michigan.
Uh-huh.
You can go and you can relax poolside with them for a poolside capybara experience, whatever the heck that means.
A poolside. Where do you do this?
It's in New Era, Michigan. Just type in capybara, Michigan in Google, and it comes up with it. It says some kind of zoo. I don't know if it brings you a beer while you relax. I mean, I have no idea, but it sounds interesting.
Well, that would make it more my speed, but
You would, yes.
I appreciate you. You know what? All things capybara here this morning on the Fox Morning Show. More than you ever thought you'd hear about a capybara in your lifetime. Let's move it on over to the Hal Hole, where all the real news is with Hal Maas.
5 things you should know from 103.9 The Fox, brought to you by BioStar Services. Fire, flood, biohazard, or more, BioStar Restoration Service can quickly restore your home or business as good as new. BioStar is independently owned and operated with 24/7 emergency service and discounts to veterans. Call BioStar at 844-424-6782 or online at restorationbiostar.com. The Justice Department indicting former University of Michigan assistant football coach Matt Weiss on accusations of ID theft. They believe he gained access to student-athlete databases and downloaded personal and medical information of thousands of college athletes, primarily females. Weiss was eventually fired by U of M amid growing evidence of his involvement in the crime and lack of cooperation with investigators. President Trump yesterday signed an executive order to close down the Department of Education in order to shift control to state and local officials. That move would likely face legal opposition because the elimination of a federal department requires an act of Congress. Shooting in Flint Township earlier this month, bringing charges against a 25-year-old man. According to MLive, Cameron Blakely will face 3 counts of assault with intent to murder and 6 weapons charges connected to the shootings of 2 women on March the 4th at the Clover Tree Apartments, both those victims continuing to recover. Tesla recalling 46,000 Cybertrucks over a potential problem with adhesive. It's causing panels to detach. March Madness late last night, Michigan beat UC San Diego 68-65. Wolverines thus advance to face Texas A&M tomorrow afternoon. That'll be at 5:15. Michigan State battling Bryant tonight. That's another late night 10 o'clock game out in Cleveland. Other first-round winners yesterday at March Madness, in addition, of course, to Texas A&M, were Texas Tech, St. John's, UCLA, Drake, Arkansas, Tennessee, Gonzaga, BYU, McNeese State in a big upset, Houston, Wisconsin, Purdue, Creighton, and top seed Auburn. Pistons are in Dallas tonight to take on the Mavs. Tonight in the OHL, it's the Firebirds in Sarnia, the Spirit playing at the Sioux. Tigers off yesterday, but they'll make up for it by splitting their squad, playing 2 games today. One half of the team's going to face the Orioles, the other will take on the Yankees. And to cap this one off, lots of excitement in Frankenmuth today, where they're going to take the wraps off the new Bavarian Blast Water Park at its soft opening. It's touted as Michigan's largest indoor water park and family fun center, featuring 16 water slides, giant wave pool, and Michigan's first swim-up bar. That's 5 things you should know from 103.9 The Fox. Forecast calling for cloud cover to decrease today under breezy conditions as temps rise to around 54 with south-southwest winds at 7 to 12. They'll pick up to around 13 to 18 miles an hour this afternoon. Could gust at times as high as 30. Could see some rain overnight, perhaps mixing with snow toward morning with overnight lows around 29. That possibility of snow extends into the morning hours tomorrow before we start to see gradual clearing later in the day. However, the highs will only reach around 34. And then for Sunday, rain and snow in the afternoon, turning to all rain, and temps touching 45. Right now it's 23 in Flint, and in Saginaw 27.
Find out if you know more about porn than Steph Barber. Porn star weatherman. The first contest will play coming up at 7:30. And then, right after that, Steph's Fox Flashback, a second chance for you to win. Within 10 minutes, you get your choice of prizes.
Yeah, you do.
Including a lot of contests we talk about. Yeah. It's all coming up here on 103.9 The Fox.
Okay, let's get underway with Friday, huh? What do you say? Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're looking in from. Because here we go with a Friday morning, the 21st of March. It is the first full day of spring. So we have managed to extricate ourselves from those 70-degree winter days we've been suffering through over the last several, and are now into a day which is going to be in the 50s today, but only in the mid-30s tomorrow at best. So we're into spring here in the state of Michigan. Welcome to National Flower Day today. Not a great day for growing them, but it is National Flower Day today. How many days till summer? 90 days, Rapsuka. 90 days. 90 days. We're getting toward the next season. Next season. Ohio Kim is here. Good morning, Ohio Kim. Up bright and early today, ready to rock and roll. And boy, even earlier up is in California, Eric. Good morning to Eric, who's already checking on ZZ Top and give me all your lovin'. That's, of course, he's our musicologist, so he's always keeping track of that kind of thing. What else is going on today? We've got Linda, of course, from the township, where it's also nice and brisk this morning. Chris here from New Mexico. What's up, Chris? It's finally Friday. That's what's up. Also, here today with us, as I'm scrolling back, I think I saw Royal Rachel there as well. So we get going with our Friday and our simul stream. So we're going to be here for an extra bit of time since we have the Friday morning primal scream to share with you later on. We'll be doing some food fighting and some other things as well. Royal Rachel there. Hi, how you doing? Okay. So like and subscribe if you happen to be one who is watching us on YouTube today, where we just got a chance to actually promote a little bit of the YouTube work we do with one of the channels that we've been working with for the last year or so. I don't know if some of you just jumped in here and missed it when Johnny was talking about it. They got to talking on the air about capybaras, which are these humongous sized, yet friendly, but still humongous sized rodents. And particularly popular in Japan, because there's going to be one at this pet expo that's going on in Flint here this weekend, and so that's what brought that subject up in the first place. And I happen to remember that probably 8 or 10 months ago I'd done a feature about capybaras for this one channel called Wild Utopia, which, if you subscribe to it, we're still doing stuff, not as often as we had been, but we're still there doing them. And yeah, they have one or two in Birch Run. Capybaras, do they? Yeah, they're the kind of thing. Steph wanted one until she realized how big they are. They're pretty good size. You don't take those things out in the neighborhood for a walk. Although if they did, Jacko would probably be right in its face. I'm telling you. Okay, Linda's now, she's kind of stuck at the crossroads here. Do we go with capybara or extricate as the word of the day? And we're already hitting it too early with words. Yes, the capybaras. I think there's a second R in it. Yesterday we were talking about spelling. I'm still bothered. Royal Rachel's on Facebook if you don't see your comments, and you probably don't because most of you are on YouTube. But we were talking about spelling yesterday a good deal of the time while we were on Instagram in the Hal Saloon, and I was talking about how it just irks me to see constantly people spelling the word lose, L-O-O-S-E. I can't believe the amount of people that do that. They spell it L-O-O-S-E for the word lose. There's one O only in lose. That's it. Just one. Just one. Spell your name. I don't, other than Rob Suka, you have the other name also, which I'm starting to think is pronounced Rope. Is like R-O-O-P-E. Is that is that how you pronounce it? Because we would look at that and we would see the word Roop in it, because there's a fellow who lives in our area, used to be, in fact, a weather anchor on one of our local TV stations, and then he moved to Detroit. He's been working there for several years, been very popular down there. His name is Roop Raj, but he spells it R-O-O-P. There's no E at the end. But then I also, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, ran across a feature that involved somebody with the name of, like your name, but it was pronounced Rope. At least at that particular feature it was. And that's it. Okay, Rob Suka apparently thinks we're on the ball here with that. Okay. Sheila's here with the sunshine. Good morning to Sheila. And here's Tina being irked by spelling the word to as in also, T-O. And I'm also bothered by that. Not as much as I am by the word lose, but yes, T-O and T-O-O. People have lots and lots of confusion over that spelling. Constantly. Yes, Rachel, Royal Rachel remembers Roop Raj, right? Whose name spelled backwards is Poor Jar. He's been very popular down in Detroit. I like the way he developed as a broadcaster. Very, very good. This one particular station that we have, of the 3 that we have in our market, had 2 rather noteworthy weekend weather people. They had Roop Raj, who then moved down to Detroit to become a rather noted primetime anchor. And at one point in life, that TV station also had working weekend weather Ginger Z, who is now the chief meteorologist at ABC. And you see her all the time on Good Morning America and a lot of time on the primetime newscasts if some big stuff comes up. So they've been real good at managing to not only promote but develop fine future broadcasters. Sheila was here. She just forgot to send the sun. Do as much of that as you can the next several days, because you're gonna have to work hard to send it. We don't have a lot of sun-worthy weather coming up this weekend, even though, yes, it is spring officially. It's that time of year where the spring is there one day and gone tomorrow. We'll have that all the way through the next several days, maybe the next week or two. We always have that. We always have that kind of thing. Clouds today. Yeah, might be snow overnight. Yeah, we had some, and we had some snow yesterday, as we were supposed to get. We were getting it right around noon. Jacko's looking up like, what the hell is this? He was thinking he wouldn't have to wear his winter coat anymore. But we're getting close to the time where he won't have to, but he's still kind of borderline. Right now, we're at 40 degrees is kind of the thing. If he is going out and the temperature's below 40, we usually put that coat on him. Even though I get the side eye unmercifully from him every time. But we don't want, because he doesn't have that much hair. And so we don't want him to freeze. Although maybe it's a good idea, because then he spends less time outside and he gets to business real quick when we go out on those bathroom breaks. He doesn't just putz around. Any drama yesterday? Not yesterday, thankfully, because I'm still feeling the effects of the drama from the day before when he decided he wanted to go nose to nose with a neighborhood Yorkie from the tax office, and I had to go after him, and I took a tumble in the driveway because I tripped over something. Ribs are still sore. Not so much the knee anymore, but the left side of my ribs are still sore. Johnny and Steph now. By the way, Steph was just talking about her issues with health. She's talking about having shingles. I didn't realize that until they just brought that up on the air 15 minutes ago. She's battling that right now.
I am a state of Michigan employee. Turns out, like you said, UAW and state of Michigan employees have coverage.
He's still talking about his hearing aid situation.
It connects to a lot of people. I'm a lifelong Flint resident, retired firefighter, and love the show. Just wanted to say a big thank you for your voice
Tina looking at the optimism side of the rain. Those April showers bring May flowers. And again, today, a little early on, but it is National Flower Day. Today is National Flower Day. What's the station on the status on the 12 weather people? I still have not heard anything in the form of an update about whether or not they get to stay on or not. The company, all right, let me see if I can bring you up to date on that while Johnny's talking about his hearing aid situation. We have 3 local stations, TV stations in town, and one of them is being hit by, or at least it looked like it was going to be hit by severe cuts to their weather department, a.k.a. wiping it completely out so that the Weather Channel, based in Atlanta, would be feeding this local station its forecasts. Now, the company that owns this local station, along with dozens of others around the country, is going to do that to all of those stations. They wanted to completely gut all of the meteorologists, we're talking over 100 of them, lose their jobs so that they could centralize the forecasts out of Atlanta and farm them out in an almost live form. It's actually recorded, but played back moments later after it's recorded in these local markets, including here in Flint. But then I also heard not long after that announcement came out, because that, as you can imagine, met with a whole lot of blowback from TV viewers locally. It certainly did here. But only a few markets were affected in terms of the parent company deciding against that decision that they'd made. They were going to keep those because these meteorologists were so damn popular, they kept them on. I have not heard that happening here yet, although there's been a lot of pushback even here about what they thought about doing to these meteorologists, because 2 of the 3, there are 3 of them right now. They've cut back the department as it is. They used to have 5, now they got 3. And 2 of them have been there for more than 20 years. One of them has been there over 30. And we would certainly not want to see anything happen to any of them in terms of their employment status. But I've not heard yet about any update regarding that. I'm hoping real hard that they're going to keep these guys on, because they're all excellent at what they do. And not to mention the fact that they know about the community in a way that Atlanta or no other market would know about it when it comes to particularly tracking storms. Because they can track storms and make references to landmarks in the Flint area, whether it be corners or buildings or parks or something of that sort. They'd be able to let people know, based on that, because the local community would know about all these landmarks, where things are going to happen weather-wise. And that is a tremendous advantage that an out-of-market meteorologist wouldn't know.
Thinking about a new deck or replacing an existing deck in your backyard? PVC is the way to go, and Michigan Lumber is the go-to source for quality deck products. See them all at MichiganLumber.com.
We're going to get to the traffic in just a second here, because that's another thing that what we do while we're here, in addition to talking to you guys. For those who are new to us, we do this every day. If it's a day that doesn't begin with a T, we're on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, as we are now. And if it is a T day, then we're on Instagram. So that's what we're doing right now, simul streaming. And we're going to do traffic in a second as soon as I figure out what's going on. Oh, okay, I see one thing going on here. But just one, thankfully. The roads are in pretty good shape. Heavily traveled as usual. And there's some people who stayed up late to watch the Michigan game last night, because Michigan, in the March Madness scheme of things, had to play a 10 o'clock game last night. And wouldn't you know, Michigan State's playing tonight, and they also have to play a late game. And when I say late, I mean 10 p.m. at least, at the earliest, Eastern time. They're in Cleveland playing Bryant. Speaking of Flower Day, as Tina is, she says Carrie, Tina Jr., bought all fake flowers so the deer can't eat them, because they're costing money when the deer eat them. Where's the rescue dog? We're going to talk about and show you 2 of them after we're done with traffic here. I got 2 smile sources for you today. And talk about battling physical issues. These 2 both are. we're talking about the shingles situation going on with Steph, and the rib situation with me, and yeah, it is too much money. You bet it is. And Chris is making sure in all caps that y'all remember to like and subscribe to us if you're on YouTube, because, hey, that helps grow the group, and we're kind of all about doing that. Love to have you do that. We'll also be doing food fighting later on today. Got other things to talk about when it comes to food also, but before we even get to that point. So, you guys like to talk about food so much, we'll do that. Got a couple of things to bring up to you that I've discovered over the past several days. That Jardian spot, by the way, that I've been talking to you about in the past, about how the song, the jingle that went along with that has been driving people crazy. Well, the latest version of it I've seen just 4 times this morning. 4 times. And it seems to me they're cutting back on the amount of music that they use from that jingle, but they're adding the amount of side effects that you get from it. And that's the thing. 75% of every drug ad has always got the side effects rather than the advantage of the drug. Freeways are fine. No reports of any problems at the moment there, but we're looking in the city of Flushing at a crash just in a moment ago at the intersection of Pearson and Elms Road. That could be a slow spot for some of you, Pearson and Elms. Throughout the day, if you're looking for vehicle city traffic information, it is updated for you at classicfox.com/traffic. And if you spot a crash, you can tell us about it. 810-230-WRSR is the number. That is 810-230-9777 to be a traffic tipster on 103.9 The Fox.
Traffic is service of Big Landscape Supplies. As we spring into the new season, it's time to get that driveway in shape with tons of driveway material, plus the finest topsoil, compost, and humus. Big Landscape Supplies has 2 locations to serve you. You can find out more at biglandscapesupplies.com. Like them on Facebook, and now let's get big and busy.
All right, we got porn star weatherman coming up next, and then, of course, we've got Steph's Fox Flashback, a chance to win. A little later on, the Friday morning primal stream, I'm dedicating it to my clogged-up refrigerator. I swear to God, those years of playing Tetris did nothing to help me fit jelly jars in the refrigerator door.
I'm so sorry.
They're all over the... What a mess. Here's you, too, on the Fox.
Yes, 4 times, just this morning. Just this morning I've seen. I haven't seen it that much lately, but for whatever reason, they just decided to go saturation today. Let's just play that thing all the damn time. We now have Definitely Not Zane here today, who is on Twitch, if you don't see the comments. So good morning, Definitely Not Zane. That would mean South Africa is here with us. Absolutely. All right, by popular demand, here is a smile source. In fact, by 2. We're going to give you English setters, Beatrice and Eleanor, who live in Coningham, Pennsylvania. Beatrice and Eleanor. Beatrice and Eleanor. Now, the thing about these 2, they're both deaf. According to this page, these 2 are both deaf. But that does not diminish their enthusiasm for life, their love for their owners, or their appreciation for being where they are. 2 deaf dogs. Hearing impaired, if you will. And they're also fashion models, as you can see, matching jammies. Yes, right there. Aww. Aww. Right? There you go. Beatrice and Eleanor. Okay? All right. Was at a restaurant. I think I told you guys about it last Saturday. Was at a restaurant. It was one of those 50s restaurants that has 50s music, but it goes back even further than the rock and roll era of Elvis, even though there's a big picture photograph of Elvis on the wall, on one of the walls over there. The music that I was hearing was being pumped in from people like Joe Stafford, and I think even the Lennon sisters had a hand in it there. Well, all these old standards were being played. There was kind of that going on there. One thing I noticed, too, is that people were not taking doggy bags home with them. And then I got a little bit of a confirmation to that observation yesterday when I found out that there's a report that there is a lot less doggy bag departure in restaurants. That man selling viewers, shame on him, says Definitely Nonze. Who's selling viewers? Linda's saying it's awesome to see dogs respond to sign language. And you know, that goes a lot with, before I get back into this doggy bag thing, doggy bag, as we're talking about dogs, with the fact that one of the things that the spirit dog trainer people have mentioned as I've been trying to take tips from them, because most of them seem to work, that the dogs will, responding better to signs or movements, body movements that you might make, as opposed to the oral commands that you might give. The oral commands are just kind of reinforcing for them what you want them to do. But because they respond so much to body language, since the body language is how they talk to each other primarily, dog to dog, kind of like what Jacko and that's Yorkie were doing a couple of days ago. They were yelling at each other simply. But that's what body language is, how it operates with them. So they, even if they don't have hearing, are able to respond to what you want them to do if you use the right body language that they understand. So, we'll see. May have a bot on Twitch. You know, we don't have nearly enough anything else on Twitch, so anything we can get, I'm fine with that. We used to get bots all the time. Remember on Periscope, we used to have those repeat bots all the time, and you could never tell if you had a real person on right now. Sometimes with you guys, I'm not even sure some of you are real, the way sometimes you react to things that we do.
If your bank account refills as fast as your laundry basket, you're the lucky one. The rest of us are screaming about not being able to do that. Later on in the show.
Yeah. Tell you what I really miss from the Periscope days is those trolls. We used to get some really good ones. And we had that one that just swore that we were bullying him. He would come in with a different name. He had about 7 different names that he would come in with. And he was always, you could always tell it was the same guy because he was always accusing me of bullying him, even though it never happened that way. We were nicer to him than any other troll we ever had on here. Or anywhere. But now, you know, we just don't have those anymore. They're being policed too tightly. So, one of them gets through. Hey, welcome. Come on in. What the hell? But this business of doggy bags and the fact that, are you guys, when you go to restaurants, are you one who typically will do that? You'll order more than you really want to eat simply because it gives you the opportunity to take some more home and maybe have it for lunch the next day or something? You ever do that kind of thing? I have always tried to make sure that anytime I'm ordering something, I'm always able to finish it. That was like, I was always told growing up, you try to finish your plate as best you're able to do. Even if somebody even overfills it, you still try to finish it as best you can. You don't want to waste food. And then there's always that option of taking it home after if you're in a restaurant, but I've never even used that, ever. But I've seen a lot of bazillion other people do it. But it's not happening nearly as much anymore, and Eric always wants leftovers. He always wants leftovers, which is a good idea. It's kind of like good with pizza. You know, if you buy a hot pizza and then you have 2 or 3 cold slices of it the next day for breakfast, that's always good. In fact, Linda's, oh, hell yes, leftovers are the bomb. Absolutely. You bring it home if they give you big portions, Tina says.
This is Jen from Cox and Robertson Flushing. I love 103.9 The Fox. I can't start my day without it.
The Fox. Star weatherman coming up. By the way, increasing clouds, breezy and 54 degrees today. And tonight, early morning rain or snow, probably overnight about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. It's going to start raining or snowing. It's going to stay that way for a while. It's going to be breezy and down to 29 overnight. Then a chance for snow or snow flurries tomorrow will start the day and eventually It'll be clearing in the afternoon. Breezy at 34 tomorrow. Afternoon rain and snow on Sunday, turning to all rain and breezy at 45 by the end of the day. Right now it's 25 at 103.9 The Fox.
Chris had a Walmart deli something. Hold on. Deli sandwich. I have to scroll up here. For dinner last night. Okay? Linda cooks with leftovers in mind. That would be smart. But here's the thing now. New York Magazine is saying that restaurateurs in New York are observing this surprising shift in that diners, according to the quote from the writer, diners seem increasingly uninterested in asking for boxes to take home leftovers. And that comes down to, they believe, social stigmas. The ease of ordering takeout and returning to sharing food after the pandemic made doing so taboo. You didn't really have that. During the pandemic, people weren't going to share food or that kind of thing, and definitely not take it home, because you never knew. Then there's a guy who owns 2 Chicago-style pizzerias in Manhattan. He says 3/4 of his customers don't box up leftovers. And he says young people are the ones who are more likely to leave behind food. Young people. Remember, these are the people that we were talking about yesterday, the Gen Z people who are bringing down the happiness quotient in the United States. We're talking about the happiness level. The United States is only 24th in the world regarding happy nations. And, of course, Rob Suka's sitting there in all kinds of yuck-it-up Finland. They're so over the moon with happiness that there you are. But here in the United States, we're 24th on the list because the Gen Zs are not happy. They are so worried about, and I suppose in many cases rightfully so, about their future. And not as much to be optimistic about as we used to have in our day when we were that age. Yeah, it is 5 years since the pandemic, which is crazy. 5 years since the pandemic. So, kind of building on that, the Money Magazine quoted as saying, families tend to take home food, but if it's a guy and a girl, and it looks like they're on a date, they'll order a lot, but they won't finish anything because they're spending all their time, of course, getting to know each other, talking to each other, and spending more time talking than eating. Then you go to a restaurant and you see these families that are there, and nobody's talking to anybody. They're all either eating or they're on their phone scrolling through it. You ever see that? Where you go to a restaurant and you see these people sitting there and they don't even know each other exists because they're too busy scrolling on their phone. Or maybe they're actually eating the food. Tina goes to a small business. They give you a lot. Carrie brings it home also. Sheila went out Tuesday and meal was so big she brought it home and had lunch Wednesday, Thursday, and enough for today as well. Where'd you go, to Tony's? Because that sounds like a thing that Tony's restaurant would have. They got the Birch Run and Saginaw restaurants where they give you an enormous amount of everything. In fact, that's what they're famous for. They give you more than you pay for, it seems. You have to take it home with you. You can't possibly finish it all in one sitting if you order the right stuff. The scrolling families will do that, yeah. I've ever seen the show Bar Rescue on Paramount Network. You know, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. Bar Rescue. Didn't they used to have that, or still in some cases have that, like on the Food Network? Bar Rescue. I'm trying to think. It seems to me, now that I think about it, is that the one that Irvin guy is a host of? He's like an English fella. His last name is Irvin. Because if it is, I think they had that show come here to Burton, which is just outside of Flint, because there was an establishment over there that needed a complete redo. He came in, they did the redo, and then had to shut down months later because even that didn't work out. And I think it was Bar Rescue. That was that program.
It's a Good Friday song right there, boy. Gets you ready for the weekend, and we're going to be getting ready for the weekend here in just a minute with our porn star weatherman. If you're the third caller at 810-230-9777, you get to play porn star.
Oh, Vinny's Pizzeria, Uptown Bay City. Okay, that's where that was.
Fresh from an afternoon of show prep.
Yeah, she prepped all day yesterday. Hey, by the way, there's a former employee of M&M that is now being accused of losing himself in the iconic Michigan's Rappers Music Vault.
Uh-oh.
What he did is he stole a bunch of unreleased tunes and handwritten lyrics, and he's offering them on the internet for thousands in crypto. Joseph Strange, he's from Holly, he's 46, federally charged with 2 counts of criminal infringement of copyright and 1 count of interstate transportation of stolen goods. Acting U.S. Attorney Julie Beck announcing this a couple of days ago. The charges are...
Hey, here's Greenie. Royal Rachel's back on Facebook, and Greenie's back on YouTube. She's our legal department from New York. She's been with us off and on for a long time. She is Greenie the Good Twin. Why? Because her twin wasn't one of our followers on Periscope. Greenie has been. So she's the good twin.
I've got 4 callers on the line, but all the first 3 lines are empty because they all hung up.
Works in a law office, or at least has. Are you still working in the law office, Greenie? Definitely not. Zane says, in that case, contrasting paint. Hello, definitely not a bot. Okay.
We had 2 women going against each other.
Woohoo, Jill!
You know your porn stars, Jill?
I hope I do.
You know, the name Jill is used for something else, so I'm not going to do it right now. So you hold the line. You porn queen, you. Hold on.
Okay, thank you.
We'll get with you here in a moment. You're going to be our contestant. We'll see if we can and give you your choice of prizes coming up here. You're going to get that not only with Porn Star Weatherman, but the contest that directly follows it is steps.
Oh, Greenie retired. Okay, so she can put just her law knowledge to us. That'd be good. Focus on us.
All right, that all starts on the other side of this on 103.9 The Fox.
And it's all in service of Michigan.
Royal Rachel's tired of not being able to see your comments, so she's going to move over to YouTube. Look for me. I think it's at Hal Maas 5119 if you want to get real precise about it. I think that's where it is.
For quality deck products. See them all at MichiganLumber.com.
I believe that is where it is. So hang on there, guys, because Royal Rachel's coming. She's going to see you guys in a bit after she figures out where we are on YouTube. Most people tend to hang out there. She's bringing her cast of people over, too. She is one who gets to have animals in every Wednesday. They do a thing on their show called Wet Nose Wednesday. Yes, good morning, everyone, from Greenie. All right, let's see if we get to the traffic before we do Porn Star Weatherman. Let's see what's going on here. Not so much that way. 27. No, oh, no. Don't do that. Couple of things. Okay, we got those. Let's get to those.
Call 810-820-8138 for a free consultation virtually by phone or in person to review your specific needs and help find a plan that's right for you. Call 810-820-8138 today. Help is licensed in all states and DC. Product availability varies. Spring is in the air, so why aren't you? Fly from Flint, Michigan.
Rachel found us. Hey, there she is. That's Royal Rachel right there, guys. Rachel Geddes. Longtime radio pal and longer time co-worker. Not now, obviously. She's got things that she's committed to up north of us, but we used to work on the same show.
Visit RPM Auto Sales today and choose from our wide selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. Our team's here to help you get the car you need at a price.
And on top of that, she can multitask because you have another screen up. Good for you. See, look at that. You work morning radio, you get a chance to learn how to do a zillion things at one time. And she is adept at it because she's been at it for quite a long time. Remember Tina broke a cup? Because she did just recently here. Tina Jr. bought her a Yeti non-breakable. There you go. Let's get sturdy. Beautiful. Those Yetis are tough. I have a Yeti mic here. I think I've shown you guys that, and the microphone that we have in the studio to do other things besides be on the air with it. Let's do this traffic stuff. There are 2 points along Elms Road that may slow you down if you're in the area. Flushing Township, the crash is going to be on, it's on Coldwater Road, just west of Elms Road. And the other one that's going on in the city of Flushing is at Pearson and Elms Road. No other problems besides those 2 crashes that we found. And throughout the day, if you happen to need Vehicle City traffic information updated, you can go to classicfox.com/traffic. You'll get that. Crash or unusual delay you happen to see, you can tell us about it. 810-230-WRSR. That is 810-230-9777 to be a traffic tipster on 103.9 The Fox.
How many parallel universes do you live in over there with that porn music?
What does that mean? I'm not quite
Well, I
familiar
mean,
with
the
that.
deep, sexy voice and the porn music.
Oh, yeah.
Do you moonlight like Hal does, don't you?
Yeah, I do, but it's all porn.
He's pulling out his Quiet Island voice for them.
Yeah, but it's not real quiet when the porn stars are on it. All right, let's go to the phone. We have Jill. What's Jill's last name?
Franzel.
Say that again.
Jill Franzel of Flint.
Franzel. Okay, Jill Franzel of Flint. How are you?
Great. How are you guys doing?
All right.
We're good.
The way this game works is we're going to give the name of a personality to Steph, and she has to decide if it's a porn star, whether man you either agree with her or disagree with her. You get it right 3 times before she fools you 3 times. That's how you win. What did you choose as your prize?
Yes, I did.
Yep, 10 Nugent tickets.
All right. That's on August 31st.
Yes.
The Fox Home Morning Show on Hold on a minute. Now everything's going nuts here. All right. Let's get this going first.
All right.
Right off the bat, first porn star.
No, I was
weatherman.
beat bad last time. I'm out for redemption, Jill.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I'm going to be on my porn game here.
Let's find out how good you guys are at this. And if you're really good, what are you doing tonight? All right, here we go. First name, Wolf Hudson.
Wolf Hudson.
Wolf Hudson. Porn star weatherman.
Wolf Hudson.
See, that's the thing about Royal Rachel. She used to do the morning show in a recliner. We gave her unmerciful grief about that when she was expecting one of her sons and got to do the show in a recliner.
Wolf Hudson's a porn star.
Told you, Jill.
Yeah.
Next, Dylan Dreyer.
Dylan Dreyer.
Dylan Dreyer.
Dreyer. D-R-Y-E-R.
Dreyer, pants on fire. Yeah, D-R. Actually, it's spelled D-R-E-Y-E-R. Dylan Dreyer.
Dylan Dreyer. I am going to say porn star.
Porn star for Dylan Dreyer. What do you say to that, Jill?
Oh, I'm going to disagree.
Right you are, because it's a weather woman
Is it?
from Boston, Mass.
I should have known with the double D's, the Dylan Dreyer.
Yeah.
They kind of recommend names like that for media people, don't they?
Yeah, sometimes, yes,
Yeah.
they do. Alliteration.
All right, Jill, we're tied up.
She's also on the Today Show.
Next one up.
She's the one who fills in for Al Roker.
Mark Rose.
Mark Rose.
Porn star weatherman.
Is that like
Hold on now.
Rose, R-O-S-E?
It is, but we got to get Steph's chiming in on this first.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
For no good reason at all, I'm going to say weather person.
For no good reason at all, she says weather person. Jill, what do you say?
Mark Rose. I'm going to agree with her.
You're going to agree with her? Wrong you are. Porn star.
He was a porn star.
He was a porn star.
Uh-oh.
Mark is spelled with a C, so it might be a woman.
Well, if you had told me that...
Oh, yeah, that would have made a difference. All right.
It does. Sometimes
Whatever.
it does.
Yeah, okay,
All
fine.
right, Jill, I could take it with this one, honey. I'm up by 1.
Good.
Two to,
Good.
it's 2 to 1. Oliver Flynn. Oliver Flynn. Oliver Flynn. Porn star weatherman.
Please, sir, may I have more? I'm going to say porn star.
Porn star, according to Steph. What do you say to that one, Jill?
I think I'm going to agree with Scott.
You're going to agree with her? Right you are.
Oh,
Just like that, we're tied up.
You tied up.
All right, here's your tiebreaker. Harmony Mendoza.
Harmony Mendoza.
Porn star or weatherman?
Harmony Mendoza. I'm going to say porn star.
She says porn star, and Jill says...
Oh, Jill doesn't know. Harmony Mendoza. I'm gonna disagree.
And that would make you a winner. A female meteorologist in Birmingham, Alabama. Congratulations, you did just win it, Jill. Congratulations.
Awesome.
You're going to see Ted Nugent and the 50th
Yeah.
anniversary of Stranglehold, and that's happening on August 31st.
Yep, at
Congratulations.
Freedom Hill or Michigan Lottery Amphitheater.
you.
Jill, you get to say it loud and proud, honey.
I am smarter, or
I know more about porn than Steph Barber.
Say it up. Say it loud.
I know more about porn than Steph Barber.
Nicely done, Jill. Thanks for playing.
You know now, Jill, your husband's going to hold you to that.
And your kids, if they're listening.
Good luck with how that turns out.
Right.
Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Fox Home Morning Show on 103.9 The Fox. Steph's Fox Flashback.
They are one of the world's best-selling bands of all time, with worldwide sales exceeding 80 million records, including 37.5 million right here in the United States. And yet it took 22 long years and the combined efforts of Slash, Jack Black, Dave Grohl, Paul McCartney, and their fans to get them inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in April of 2024. And Sammy Hagar did the honors there. Let's get into it. You can hang out for a chance to win tickets to see them at Soaring Eagle with Loverboy and Night Ranger on July 26th. You could win this with a trivia question right after this. It's Foreigner with Star Rider on 103.9 The Fox.
So a word about recliners from Greenie, from our legal department, who says, recliners cure people of sciatica pain. You have to stay in a recliner, sleep there, everything, for 2 weeks, reclined in a V position, and sciatica goes away. Boy, I wish I'd known that when I had it. It works. You did it and never came back. The recliner. Royal Rachel, have you ever had any back problems, anything, sciatica or anything approaching that? Because I remember you, Rachel, we were working together when I had it. That one horrible 3-week period where I couldn't stand anything other than the 45-degree angle. And you may have remembered watching me walk down the hall or anywhere else in the building that way. It looked kind of weird. Yeah, that was a sciatica thing. I wish I'd known about that recliner thing back then. Didn't have one at the time, but would have worked. Would have worked. And it was an episode that gave me a whole new level of appreciation and respect for people who have back issues, because I know there are people who have them constantly and have had for a long time. With me, it was just 3 weeks, and that was enough. It was nuts. Eric has upper and lower back pain all the time. Is it like a constant thing or just something that happens every once in a while, but it's spread out over time? One of the things that I do when I'm not doing radio and the voiceover stuff and everything like you heard about earlier maybe was I'm doing videos for brands. And one of them is a brand that manufactures these kind of elastic bands that you use to wrap around you to help with back issues. I don't know if it's as effective as the recliner technique that Greenie's speaking about, but it seemed to work pretty well. And I did a video about that for this company, and they seem to have some pretty good success with it, but it seems to me like your back problems have to be a little bit less severe in order for those to work. Sometimes maybe once in a while for Eric with his back things. Well, I tell you, just once in a while is enough to really drive you into wanting to do something real fast about it. Never had them, and always kind of sympathized with people who did until that 3-week stretch where you couldn't stand up It was hard to even get into the car to go into work because you couldn't swing the legs over in a certain position in order to be able to get into the car. You'd have to kind of slide, just go in butt first and then swivel your whole body in. You couldn't just go in one leg at a time. Yeah, it was just too painful to do that. But again, just 3 weeks, and that was enough to cure me of ever thinking that anything that has to do with a back issue is something that's less than really something to be aware of. So we're talking about this business about how less and less people are taking doggy bags home from restaurants. It's not as popular a pastime as it used to be, and it seems, based on what we're reading here, it's more the people who've been going to restaurants for more years than the ones who go now, the younger people who go now, that were more into wanting to take home the leftovers and being able to use them for a second or even third meal. Something else that is starting to decline when it comes to food consumption, I'm going to talk about in a minute.
No, I haven't been paying attention.
You know, yesterday morning it was space trucking, and now we've got Star Rider with Foreigner.
Good point.
Yeah,
That's cool.
very cool. And man, what a great song by Foreigner.
It really is. You don't hear it very often at all.
No, and it's so underrated.
Yeah.
And that's what this feature is all about. So if you've got an underrated song by somebody we play a lot, definitely go ahead and send a request, Steph@classicbox.com, to get that done. You are playing for, as I reach here, a plethora of good stuff here. Jill took the Ted Nugent tickets, so those aren't in those aren't in play anymore. But we do have tickets to see Foreigner with Loverboy and Night Ranger at Soaring Eagle on July 26th. Those tickets don't go on sale until tomorrow, but you can win them here this morning. And then we've got tickets to see Alice Cooper at the Dow Event Center on May 10th. The phone number always, 810-230-9777. Here is the question. What song was Foreigner's first number one?
Foreigner's first number one. Oh, man, that's going to be a tough one.
With all of those Foreigner songs.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because I did. I immediately loved that band. So,
Yeah.
and I still can't think of what that first one would be. All right.
All right.
810-230-9777, everybody.
Good morning, the Fox. What song was Foreigner's first number one?
I want to know what love is.
Yes. Nicely done. And I found this to be very interesting. I was surprised. I want to know what love is. Is their only number one?
Sir, the host is talking. Hold on.
Yeah, hang on.
I know, I'm sorry.
I want to know what love is was their only number one.
Right.
Tons of Foreigner songs in the top 5, but that was their only number one. I want to know what love is. Released in
Is that
1984.
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was surprised too.
Yeah.
Shocked, actually. Who's on our phone this morning?
First off, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. Did you hear your choices? Yes, you can talk. Your choices of prizes here. We've got pairs of tickets for Alice Cooper, or Foreigner with Loverboy and Night Ranger, or we've got a $20 gift certificate for Jesters.
I'd like to go see Night Ranger phone Loverboy.
All right, perfect. We'll put your name on those tickets, Chris. You hang on tight. We'll get some info off the air. But who just hooked you up with those Foreigner tickets this morning?
Fox 103.9.
Nice.
Listen to 103.9 The
There you go.
Fox.
And Rachel had back problems once, and as was I, cured of it very quickly of taking it for granted. She stretches, she says, every day to try to avoid it. And that recliner thing evidently only works for sciatica, says Greenie. And one less problem. You know, I mean, if that's the thing that's going to cure that, even if it doesn't work on a bunch of others, as long as it gets that one out of the way, because that's sciatica is a pretty heavy problem to have. Because I don't know that you can necessarily see it coming until it's there. That's one of those things that you just twist the wrong way. And suddenly there's not a whole lot, I think, that you can do, it seems, to avoid it. You try real hard to make sure that you move your body in the way it's intended to move, but occasionally you find yourself absent-mindedly making moves to set something down beside a desk or do something that is going to stretch your body in a way that it's not supposed to do. And I'm starting to see this daggone camera iris is starting to give me trouble here, make it look like I'm overheating. So I can get rid of that. I don't know if I can or not. Yeah, I may have to live with that. All right, let me do something here. I'm going to get rid of that. Kind of sit out of the picture for a second, if that makes a difference. Talk amongst yourselves while I'm doing this. Okay, let's see if that makes a difference. No, didn't make a difference at all. Daggone it. Okay, there we go. There we go. Sciatica pain will run down your leg as well, reports Linda. And you know, that's true. I think it happened to me with certainly both my legs, actually, because it weakened the knees. And I had to walk like stiff-legged. I was like I was on stilts. I remember that when it hit for the first time. I wasn't able to stand up at my desk. I was holding myself up with my hands at my desk and had to leave the station that day. I don't think you were there at that moment of the day, because I think you came in later in the day, if I remember right. Because then I left, and because I was going to go over to the emergency room. I'd never had this before, and I wasn't able to walk real well. In fact, I wasn't able to walk really at all without keeping my legs totally stiff, because once I started to bend my knees, I was in trouble. I wasn't going to be able to stand up. So I just walked stiff-legged as if I was walking me on stilts all the way to the car, to get in the car and drive to the damn hospital that morning. I remember that. Yes, we have news coming up, for sure. Okay, Kim is the Ohio Kim going to lay down, has the flu. Oh, boy, that's been going around. That's darn. Feels like crap. Okay. All right, well, have a great day, as best as you can if you're battling the flu, since you got the weekend, hopefully, to rest up. We'll catch you on Monday. Monday, we're back here again on our YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch triumvirate here. I think they just said I'm coming up next with the news, which is true. We're going to do that. All right. Now, I want to tell you something else that's going on here before we get into the news that is starting to become less popular when it comes to food. Snacking. Snacking is becoming less of a thing, which is becoming a problem for the packaged food industry. Why it matters. After years of inflation, consumers are recoiling, fed up with food price increases, and suddenly immersed in economic uncertainty. General Mills has become the latest food giant to sound the alarm about what its CEO, Jeff Harmening, called a slowdown in snacking. Company's net sales fell 5% in its last quarter, with U.S. snack sales down mid-single digits. J.M. Smucker's sales of sweet-baked snacks fell 7%. Campbell's company CEO noticing softness in some of their snacking categories. Sales fell over 4.3% for convenience stores in the year ended February 23rd. That's a market research firm that came up with that number, cited by the Wall Street Journal. The rise of weight loss drugs causing people to snack less, but only a smidge less. General Mills CEO noting on an earnings call that the company even experienced a decline in sales of dog snacks, and says to his knowledge there's not GLP-1s for dog treats. In other words, the weight loss treats that a dog might be able to use. And amazingly, that all the snacking that Jacko does all day long, and it doesn't seem like he ever gains an ounce. He looks, other than the fact that you can't see his ribs as much as you could when he first came here, 2 years ago tomorrow, no, not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow, is going to be this 2 years anniversary of him coming here. And he looked a little bit underfed then. No more. He's in shape, but he never misses a meal. We're here now with, on Facebook, our biker chick. Lori Ann has joined us because you can tell, at least based on this comment, she can't wait for the Scream to come. It's a Scream Friday. A lot of pregnant mom friends of Royal Rachel's had it towards the ends of their pregnancies, this back issue thing. We see Dale here now joining us from Arizona. He's on YouTube also. What's up, Dale? Good morning from Navajo Nation. Just in time for the news. We're going to be going on to our food fighting in a while also. And I'm going to, while we're doing that, have breakfast. So it's all coming up. Right now, Rachel says all she does is buy snacks for the boys. Now, you do buy healthy snacks, though, right? Mom, Royal Rachel, right? Yeah, he does work off his snacks, calories, barking, Linda says. Yeah, He uses his mouth more than, well, any muscle that he has, and he's pretty muscular, but his mouth is the one that gets the most use. No questions.
3.9 the Fox. Sometimes the universe just aligns properly. So you go to a game in Japan. You want to see the Dodgers and the Bears play, right?
Uh-huh.
So you go to the game, and you happen to be a dyed-in-the-wool Chicago Cubs fans going to the game all the way over in Japan. You go up to your seat, and randomly you happen to be seated right next to Bill Murray, and your name is Jack White.
Shut up.
Hey,
Jack White of the White Stripes?
yeah, Jack White went over there.
See, Lori Ann's happy about spring being here. We got rid of those 70 degrees winter days so that we can bask in the glow of a 35-degree spring day.
The Cubs. And, since he says, now here's what he said. He said, White wrote about it. He said, you know what it's like when you go to see an MLB game between the Cubs and the Dodgers in Tokyo wearing a game-worn Cubs jersey from the year that you were born, 1975, with your favorite number on it that Eddie Vedder gifted you before the game, and you walk to your seat and realize that Bill Murray is, by the randomness of the universe, sitting next to you to watch that game. You know that feeling? You know that feeling? Right.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Apparently, another random Michigan connection happened in Game 2 yesterday. Rodney Pete, who was sitting in the crowd, he's a former Detroit Lions quarterback. He caught a foul ball out of it went out of play as Max Muncy stretched over the protected netting to try and catch it, but Rodney Pete got it instead. White and Murray also crossed paths last month at the Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary special, where White performed and Murray appeared on Weekend Update.
Wow.
The world is...
Just the randomness of the universe, huh?
Yep.
Here's the thing, though. Isn't Bill Murray, doesn't he have a reputation as being kind of curmudgeon-y?
Yeah, I don't know that would necessarily happen with two guys. I think he's been that way with women, and it's been coming up a lot.
I gotcha.
There are people that have been pushing back on Bill Murray.
But, I mean, if you're sitting next to Jack...
It's time for news here in Michigan. Healthy snacks for Rachel. Way to go, Mom. 5 things you should know from 103.9 The Fox, brought to you by Shea Automotive Group. Right now, buy a car from the Shea Megalot and finance it through Financial Plus Credit Union. Get a $150 gas card. See dealer for details. Just Shea'n. A former University of Michigan assistant football coach being indicted in connection with accusations of ID theft. Justice Department alleging that Matt Weiss gained access to more than 100 colleges' student-athlete databases and downloaded personal and medical information of thousands of athletes, primarily females. Weiss was eventually fired by the U of M amid growing evidence of his involvement in that crime and lack of cooperation with investigators. In Oakland County, a shooting yesterday morning going down on the grounds of Corewell Health Beaumont Troy Hospital. Reports saying that 2 hospital employees were involved, one of them a 25-year-old man who was shot and wounded. The alleged shooter was later taken into custody. No word yet on a motive. President Trump yesterday signed an executive order to close down the Department of Education in order to shift control to state and local officials. That move will likely face legal opposition because the elimination of a federal department requires an act of Congress. There's a recall of green beans underway. MLive reporting 200,000 cans of food and Good and Gather cut green beans may contain an unspecified foreign object. Those beans sold at Target stores in 21 states, including Michigan. March Madness, Michigan Wolverines beat UC San Diego late last night, 68-65. They move on to the next round in March Madness against Texas A&M. That game tomorrow at 5:15. Michigan State battles Bryant tonight at 10 p.m. in Cleveland. Pistons are on the road in Dallas to take on the Mavs tonight. In the OHL, the Flint Firebirds will be in Sarnia. The Saginaw Spirits skate at the Sioux. And the Tigers, after being off yesterday, split the squad today. Half of them are going to face the Baltimore Orioles, the other half taking on the Yankees. And to cap this one off, tonight's Mega Millions drawings for a jackpot of $324 million. That's 5 things you should know from 103.9 The Fox. Cloud cover to increase under breezy conditions today as the temps rise to around 54 with south-southwest winds at 7 to 12, pick up to around 13 to 18 miles an hour this afternoon. It could gust at times as high as 30. Could see some rain overnight, perhaps mixing with the snow toward morning. Overnight lows around 29. A possibility of snow exists into the morning hours tomorrow before we start to see gradual clearing later. Highs reaching only 34 tomorrow, but for Sunday, rain and snow that turns to all rain and temps touching 45. Right now it's 25 in Flint and in Saginaw 26.
Flint's Classic Rock Authority.
103.9 The Fox.
You know, by the way,
I want you to watch me.
our friend Dan Grady from Grady's Sign
Yeah.
just wrote, you know, that space theme you have going on the Steph's Fox flashback must be because Elon Musk saved our restaurants, our astronauts this week.
That could be it.
Everything's political.
Yes, subliminal is. Yes, subliminal.
103.9 The Fox.
Okay, I have to be in a certain position in order for the picture to not look kind of weird, evidently. So we'll try to stay in that one position if I can. All right? All right. All right, let me see while I have a moment to do it. Then I'm going to show you guys a couple of, we got smile sources for you, 2 of them today. But before we do that, I want to make sure that we're able to get into our feed so that when we get to the Friday morning Primal Scream, you'll be able to see into the studio the smiling faces of Johnny and Steph. So hang in there for just a second before we get to the smile sources, because again, I got 2 of them for you. Happy National Flower Day for those who celebrate. Yeah, there we are. There we are. I'm going to have to cut the sound here in a minute. There we go. Right there. Okay, now we're good. Now we're good. All right. So let me show you what we've got here for a smile source, or 2. These are English setters by the name of Beatrice and Eleanor, who live in Coningham, Pennsylvania, with their moms, Jackie and Anita. Beatrice and Eleanor, fashion models both, deaf both, hearing impaired, both of them. But because dogs tend to like to use body language to respond to the humans and what they want to let the humans let them do, they seem to be able to navigate the world pretty well. And they both like to wear matching outfits, as you can see. That, Beatrice and Eleanor, for you. Okay? All right. All right, let me see here. Going over to our food, because we got a bunch of them. I got a lot of food stuff. Been talking about it all morning this morning, and I've still got a whole pile of posts from earlier, treasure trove of tweets, and we used to call them that. We'll get to that in a second here. I don't know if they're going to talk or not. Let's take a look and find out together.
This is Flint's Classic Rock. 103.9 The Fox.
Hey, you've heard this before. Now we're going to answer it for you. Do kids grow faster in the spring? I'll tell you next. 103.9 The Fox.
Do kids grow faster in the spring? Well, maybe if Royal Rachel's still with us, because I know she's bouncing back and forth this morning. Busy, as you will be when you're doing this thing in the morning. So Rachel is going to leave us right now as we ask the question, do kids grow faster in the spring? She's got 2 kids who are growing fast as it is. I wonder if they're springing up faster in the spring than they are during the winter. But we will see. Rob Suka thinks yes, that they do. Here now, we have New Hampshire joining us. It's Pathfinder Coaching. That's Slyman. Good morning to Slyman. Welcome in to Friday, the 21st of March, first full day of spring around here. It's Michigan, so it feels like it should be spring around here. I got the sun out my window, although it's not going to stay. Thanks for what we're going to get to Sheila, who's providing that for us from Bay City. But we're going to probably have more cloud cover later, and by the time we get to the weekend, we're going to have snow/rain/back to snow again because it's spring in Michigan, so that's what we get. We just came out of 2 days of beautiful blue sky, 70-degree weather to close out winter. And now as spring arrives, there you go. Let's get you started with one of our food fight tweets, if you will, just to kind of whet your appetite for what's coming up ahead. And that's what you're getting to. New Hampshire is getting winter again. Winter's back in full. Although this is spring for us. In Michigan, we get this. This is kind of an acceptable way to do it. You want spring, it'll be here. I mean, we got a taste of that 2 days ago. Oh, I see the Jonas Brothers on GMA. I still remember the Jonas Brothers being in Saginaw, Michigan one day, many years ago. And when I walked into a really, really crowded lobby, my office/studio was closed off. I had the door closed and I didn't see what was going on until I walked out right around lunchtime to a crowded lobby in the studio. You could not walk. I mean, in that lobby, there were so many people there. And it was almost all female, 98% female. A lot of them were young. I mean, young, female. And then their moms were there. And I'm thinking, what is going on in here? And then I'm told, well, one of our radio stations, the one that plays primarily to the younger crowd, 18 to maybe 25, 30 years old people, had a group in, a hot up-and-coming band in as their noontime show guests. And it was the Jonas Brothers. And I'm saying to whoever told me that, who are the Jonas Brothers? Of course, I now know. I just saw them on GMA moments ago, and they've been around for a long time now. Everybody knows who they are, but we didn't know at that time. At least I didn't, because I wasn't listening so much to that station that catered to the younger crowd. Who are the Jonas Brothers? Famous last words. There they are. Tina's celebrating French Bread Day today. Okay, that's one way to go. Well, here's one for you. Try this. Chick Jacobs says, ranch dressing serves no culinary purpose except to drown any bugs that might linger on salad or dipping vegetables.
Your kid, your son, your niece, your grandchild in your life is sprouting before your eyes now that the winter clothing has been shed. You're probably not imagining things.
It's true.
It is. Researchers have long studied the connection between seasonal changes and youth growth patterns, and substantial evidence pointing to higher rates of growth among children in the northern hemisphere during the spring and summer months. While we might question results drawn from, say, a 1930 publication, newer research, though, has validated these older findings. A 2015 study of 760 Danish students who were aged 8 to 11 revealed the most growth recorded around April and May.
I wonder why.
Well, there's a 2022 paper which tracked the development of thousands of Texas kids from kindergarten to 5th grade, confirming strong growth rates in spring and early summer. But while we have the numbers to show that kids shoot up like springtime onion stalks, the science is less definitive when it comes to determining why. A possible explanation is the exposure to longer hours of sunlight might stimulate bone growth and hormone regulation. We just don't know.
All right.
Other potential factors can vary according to location and financial means, include increased access to fresh foods and healthy activities come springtime. Whatever the reasons, the onset of warmer weather should provide a signal to parents that you're going to have to go clothes shopping.
Yeah, Well, I noticed a huge growth spurt in my waistline in November, December, January, February, and parts of March.
As do I.
Yes.
Then I starved myself first quarter, and I've lost 10 pounds this quarter.
How? I watched you eat. How is that possible?
I have no idea. It happens to me all the time.
I kid you not, you guys. He eats junk every morning. All throughout the show.
One man's junk is another man's banquet.
Noodles, gas station burritos, donuts. It's crazy.
Yeah, well.
And it's not fair.
The way it goes, baby.
Not fair. I bet Genevieve loves that about you.
Yeah, it drives her a little
I
nuts.
bet.
Especially when I go, yeah, I just lost another 5 pounds.
And I don't know how, and I didn't even have to try.
She flips me off.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm about to flip you off, too.
Oh, too bad.
Oh, too bad.
All right, 8:12 is our time right now. 12 minutes past the top of the hour here on the Foxhole Morning Show. Coming up this hour, the Friday morning primal scream. Lots of things to scream about. Most people are screaming about the weather. You know, it never fails in Michigan. It turns spring and we get winter weather.
I
But this
know.
is happening all over. They had a blizzard in the central U.S. this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. And heavy snow and high winds. They were flipping vehicles. Forced road closures.
Wait, did you say flipping vehicles?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, they had some really nasty. Mother Nature's more like mother-in-law.
Uh-huh.
Mother Nature is just screwing with us. Winter weather's been brutal this year. Guys are dealing with shrinkage all over the place. It's cold out.
I know, but the guys that do the snow plowing are making bank, so...
All right, well, that's good, too.
Yeah, let them have their money.
If they can finally make those truck payments.
Betcha, yeah.
They bought that truck 4 years ago. They haven't been able to make a payment on it.
The Foxhole Morning Show. Johnny Burke and Steph on the way.
All right, so we've got the Friday morning primal scream at the bottom of the hour. And by the way, if you want to dedicate it to something in your life that makes you want to scream, 810-230-9777 is the number to call.
And this hour is a service of TLC Spray Foam Solutions. Consumers bill crazy? Call Ted and Joe at TLC Spray and Foam Solutions. With 20 years experience in the industry, they can remedy the problem from the roof to the basement or crawl spaces. They can make your home more efficient. You can call them 810-701-7464.
103.9 The Fox.
Okay, I'm seeing video of a couple of student broadcasters from High Point College that were in March Madness yesterday, and they were going nuts on the radio. Boy, remember those days, boy. I'll tell you what. Hey, good morning, Canada, Dan. Welcome into Canada, Dan. We're going to get to more food now. After the traffic, I've got a bunch of these food things to do. We did have this one about the ranch dressing, though. I wanted to make sure you knew that one because, well, hey, you know, it's ranch dressing and stuff. And we know how much people love ranch dressing, except Chick Jacob says ranch dressing serves no culinary purpose except to drown any bugs that might linger on salad or dipping vegetables. Yesterday, Tina was writing, and YouTube said the chat was over. You bet that happens today, way behind. You mean you say the chat was over before we were? Is that what you're saying? Or were something else you were watching? It was yesterday, we weren't on it, so it would have been somebody else you were watching. And now they're on. The broadcasters are on Good Morning America to chat with the personalities on there. This is going to propel their careers like they wouldn't believe. And Rob Suka thinks Instagram does that sometimes. Oh, they end the chat before it actually does end? Tina, so you're saying that Tina, you're saying the chat right now, as you're seeing it, is way behind what it actually is? At least what you're seeing on the screen is way behind what it's supposed to be? And it's weird. Sometimes it seems like I get cut off when signing off. Really. I'm just glad that when it comes to YouTube, I'm just glad we're on it because it took us all kinds of weird ways to figure out how to get on YouTube Live without having 1 million subscribers like you have to have or 1 million followers like you have to have in order to do a YouTube Live. If you do it by itself, that's all you have to have as a qualification. You do it the way we're doing it, and you're able to get on even if you only have half a dozen people with you, like sometimes we do on some of these things. All right, we get done with the traffic. We'll get to... So what we're finding out now is that less people are taking doggy bags home after restaurants and less people are snacking. So we need to promote the consumption of food. So we'll do that with our list of posts or tweets that we're going to give you here in a minute. But first, time to crash some cars. Okay.
Get a free coaching lesson to know how much you can afford. Get $150 cash back after making your first payment. This program assists adults 18 and older with purchasing their first car and establishing credit history. I'm Mackenzie Miller. We're excited to be partners with Financial Plus Credit Union while offering the largest inventory of new-to-you vehicles.
You know, I don't think I've ever... Rob Suka's been hanging with us like every day for the last several months. When you're not with us here, what are you doing? What do you do for the rest of the day, Rob Suka? Freeways are fine, 75, 475, 69, 23. At this point, are crash-free and delay-free. One thing going on in Vienna Township to be aware of, though, we have a crash on Vienna Road east of Webster Road that could be slowing traffic there. All day long, if you need Vehicle City traffic updated, you can get it at classicfox.com/traffic. And if you spot a crash or unusual slowdown, let us know at 810-230-WRSR. That's 810-230-9777 to be a traffic tipster on 103.9 The Fox.
Friday morning travel screen less than 20 minutes away. Increasing clouds, breezy at 54 today, but the rest of the forecast is going to really make you want to scream. Early morning rain overnight tonight. So that's going to happen in the middle of the night. It'll probably be mixed with snow, and it'll be breezy and down to 29. Then we got a chance for snow to greet us when we wake up tomorrow morning. That'll turn to snow flurries as the day goes on. That gradual clearing later in the afternoon tomorrow will bring us a breezy 34-degree Saturday. Sunday afternoon rain and snow is going to turn to all rain by Sunday evening. It'll be breezy at 45. Yeah, I know. You want to scream. Well, that's coming up next. 103.9 The Fox.
The rest of the day, Rob Suka is a professional annoyer, he says. That's it. Greenie saying yesterday she got deprived of listening because she came late, which is true. If you were on Instagram with us in the Hal Hole Saloon yesterday, you saw Greenie show up just as we were getting ready to close the doors. We were in, gave her a doggy bag, and said, we'll see you tomorrow. That's how it worked out. You continue to listen on radio app. Cool. As long as you've downloaded that app, and anybody who hasn't, do it. 103.9 The Fox. It is a free downloadable mobile app, so you can listen to classic rock music 24/7, just like Greenie does. Remember that, all right? Now, let's go back to our pile of posts, starting with one from Tommy J, who says, strawberries are delicious, but artificial strawberry-flavored anything is disgusting. Gum, candy, cereal, yogurt, milk, jelly, Pop-Tarts, you name it. Naturally flavored strawberry ice cream is the only strawberry item that is acceptable. We're finding out that Linda's older son, is coming to visit for the weekend. So a good scream today to prepare. Okay. Tina answered 10 comments, by the way. 10 comments ago, you answered. I see. That's how we're lagging today. It's almost like we're one of those network shows, network news programs that's interviewing a guest, asks a question, and the guest answers 30 minutes later. You ever notice that? When they have a correspondent in Iraq or Afghanistan or one of those faraway places, they'll ask the question, and then they might ask 3 more questions before question 1 gets answered. I know I see that happen quite a bit. And it's annoying as hell, which is kind of like the lag on these cell phones. Every time Johnny and Steph get into calls with these callers who are getting ready to answer just as Johnny and Steph are going to say something else to them, and they're talking over each other. It's a maddening thing, that whole cell phone lag thing. And I don't know if you can ever possibly get rid of that, even if you update the phone 1,000 times. I don't know. Linda can handle strawberry. No fake banana, watermelon, apple, though. But the question again about strawberries, this is the statement. Strawberries are delicious, but artificial strawberry-flavored anything is disgusting. Gum, candy, cereal, yogurt, milk, jelly, Pop-Tarts, you name it. Naturally flavored strawberry ice cream is the only strawberry item that is acceptable. Sam I Am says, olives are not food. They are pickled knots of tree anger, whose only distinguishing characteristic is a byproduct of whatever flavor of liquid malice they have had the misfortune to be embalmed in. Olive oil is the other end of the tree's emotional spectrum. Rapsuka thinking Fireball with strawberry. Greenie saying she agrees about the strawberry ice cream, and eating pure chocolate is better than chocolate ice cream or chocolate cake. Pure chocolate is better than chocolate ice cream or chocolate cake.
With autograph. 8:22 on the Foxhole Morning Show. It's Johnny and Steph here on a Friday Funnies edition. Friday morning Primal Scream is coming up. And according to a new study, only 1 in every 10 treatments. If you've got a bad back, lower back pain,
Weren't we talking about that?
some way of getting rid of that pain. I know my wife has horrible back pain. They found that only 1 in every 10 treatments is effective in relieving lower back pain. It's like if the success rate was any lower, we'd be calling it Congress. A lot of people are barely better than a lot of the procedures, I should say.
Yeah.
People rate as barely better than a placebo.
I know.
In terms of pain relief, which, leads a lot of people to the doctor. So I say, I recommend the doctor. Dr. Pepper with rum. That's what you want to do. Try that. And I bet you, because I know I've tried that on my wife, and it works.
It works?
Yeah, just forget about the back pain for a while.
All right, I gotcha.
Dr. Pepper and rum. Reach for
All
the
right.
doctor. Yeah, so I understand, people that have back pain. I feel for you guys.
Oh, I do too. I
You
mean,
see it in their eyes.
oh yeah. And
Didn't we scoop them on this back pain discussion?
sitting, standing, laying down, it's, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have a little bit of it now for the first time in my life, and it drives me. And mine is nothing like, I'm sure, a lot of other people.
Yeah,
But it's annoying because it's always there.
sure.
You can't get rid of it.
Yeah, no, you're right.
All right, 8:24. I'm not going to belabor the point because I know people with their back pain out there. I'm just calling attention to it for you. I don't mean to do that, but 8:29 is our time right now here on the Foxhole Morning, or 8:24, I should say. So coming up here in about 5-10 minutes, we've got the Scream. Stand by.
Yeah. Rapsuka hates olives. Both kinds, green and black. Because I love the black olives in a salad, and the green olives, I just like to eat them as a snack. If it weren't for the fact that there's the salty and probably also pretty caloric, I would probably have an entire snack session with just nothing but olives. Those things are awesome. To me, I love them. The green olives with those little pimentos in them, that's great stuff. But Sam I Am said olives are not food. They are pickled knots of tree anger whose only distinguishing characteristic is a byproduct of whatever flavor of liquid malice they've had the misfortune to be embalmed in. Olive oil is the other end of the tree's emotional spectrum. Tina loves olives. Eric says he found out from a friend that CBD and THC muscle rub helps with leg pain. Interesting. That's an interesting way to look at things. CBD and THC muscle rub. Didn't know there was such a thing. But it helps with leg pain, he says. Rapsuka doesn't like any kind. Just olives. The whole blanket sphere of olives. Rapsuka doesn't like those. Is there a food in Finland that is unique to Finland that you like that maybe we don't even know about here in the United States? I'm wondering about that one. Maybe try olives sometime. Now, see, I love them. I love olives. Always have. They're a little bit salty. I'll tell you that. The green olives are a little bit salty, but still awesome. As usual, my broadcast is on point before the co-work. We try to be ahead of the game, Greenie, whenever we can. We try real hard to do that. All right, let's see what they're going to do before we get to the Scream here. Apparently, Tina would like us to start the food fight earlier because we really kind of have to squeeze some of this in before we get to the Screams. You do have some foods that are uniquely Finland. Be interesting to see what those are. Manuel Rivera says pineapples have no place at all on a pizza. I even refuse to eat from half pineapple Canadian bacon, half pepperoni because the pineapple juice infects the pepperoni side. I'm pretty sure this contributed to the end of my first marriage, Manuel Rivera says. Pineapples have no place at all on a pizza. I even refuse to eat from a half pineapple Canadian bacon, half pepperoni because the pineapple juice infects the pepperoni side. I'm pretty sure this contributed to the end of my first marriage, says Manuel Rivera. another anti-pineapple on a pizza guy. And as that happens, we get a Facebook friend of ours showing up in the form of John Vance. Good morning, John Vance, leader of the John Vance Band, incredibly popular in this area. If you've not heard them, get on Facebook and sometimes you'll see him there. Rob Suka thinks pineapple is good. Linda tends to agree. Rather no pineapple on a pizza. You'd rather not have a pineapple on a pizza. Okay, we'll go over to that side because I'm one who actually was converted. It's not my favorite topping on a pizza, but I'd certainly take it. If somebody had pineapple on a pizza, I would not refuse it. I found that out a year ago when Johnny gave me a pineapple-covered pizza for a Christmas gift. John Vance, by the way. You can be on this discussion as well. You're on Facebook. Most people on YouTube, that's why you don't see their comments. But for Christmas last year, not this past Christmas, but the year before, for Christmas, Johnny gifted me a Hawaiian pizza from Meyer. And so I tried it. First time after defending pineapple on a pizza for a long time, just blindly. It was good. It was really, really good. I was shocked. How is Better Half Roy doing? He is, I guess, loving being back on the air again. Of course, Roy is a partner of John's in this podcast they've been doing, and Roy has been back out of retirement, back on the air with us 3 to 7 in the afternoons on 103.9 The Fox in Flint, after briefly retiring to be a landscaper all the time and do an occasional cameo appearance for this vocally, doing some of the commercials. But now Roy is on both feet and both hands back in the game. Hawaii pizza is legend as far as Rapsuka is concerned. Well, it looks like John is a all-meat guy. I love meat lovers. That's kind of the top of the line for me for pizzas is the meat lovers kind. But I will, as I say, having tried pineapple on a pizza, I would go for it again. It's very, very good. Now, Emily Andreas says pie is trash. If I wanted hot fruit, I would have microwaved some jam. Pie is trash. If I wanted hot fruit, I would have microwaved some jam. Philip Christie says watermelon. What's the point? Gets you all messy, not even very tasty. Thin crust. John's a thin crust, light sauce, all meat kind of guy when it comes to pizza. Thin crust. Eric disagrees with this latest. Tina says olives are low in calories. I hadn't heard that about the green ones. I'd always heard that they were kind of up there.
It's not the beautiful love song that you think it is.
No, it is meant to be a stalker song. I didn't know that. I thought people just kind of adopted it that way as time went on. And then I went and found out later that's exactly what it's supposed to be about.
No, that was as Sting was going through his divorce from his first wife. I think she was an actress. Frances Tomelty was her name, and yeah. Evidently not a very friendly divorce.
How many of them are?
Well, that's true.
It's 8:30 here in the Foxhole right now. Coming up Friday morning Primal Scream, so you can scream about your divorce or anything else that's bugging you. The weather seems to be on everybody's mind.
I am going to scream about the price of capybaras. Hal did not mention that in his narration. I'm going to scream about that.
We've been talking about capybaras this morning. It came up earlier, and then we come to find out that Hal, in his other life as a voiceover artist, actually did a documentary, a little presentation on capybaras on a website that you can access. We put that up on our 103.9 The Fox Facebook page with a link for you there. But in the process, Steph and a couple of our listeners who have been watching on the internet and discussing it with us are going nuts over these capybaras. They're like 100-pound rodents that you have as pets, and they're very, very friendly, very gentle, very beautiful little animals. Very
legal in Michigan, too, by the way.
But apparently the cost is prohibitive. How much are they?
Well, the one website that I looked, $2,500 for males, $3,000 for females.
Because you might want to breed them, right?
Yeah, probably.
Well, especially if you can get $2,500 for a male.
And they have huge litters. Because, Hal, because of you, I have done a deep dive into capybaras. Yeah. They have huge litters.
And isn't your life richer because of that?
It is, and I can't
No,
thank
Hal,
you enough, Hal.
his life is richer. He got voiceover money for that. Yes, I am a little cynical. Anyway, but I do think they're kind of cool-looking animals. They're weird-looking to start with.
Yeah.
size of your dog, bigger than your dog probably in most cases, and definitely bigger than your cat. But they make great friends with dogs and cats apparently.
Turtles and birds and all sorts of things.
So
And they love water.
but I'd be worth the $2,500 and the $3,500 you'd have to spend for a mating pair.
Yeah.
But if you can get $2,500 for every male and $3,000 for every female that you can sell, that could be a hell of a business.
It really could. It really could.
Yeah.
Hal, do you want to go into business with me?
There's some possibilities there, huh?
Look at that.
All right, we'll chat. We'll take a meeting.
Hey, quickly before we get to the Friday morning promise screen, I want to point something out. We're going to actually talk a little bit more about this next week, but there's a really cool event coming. Mott Community College Culinary Arts is presenting Hands That Feed the Future. Excuse me. I talk about food and I start burping. Celebrating the next generation of chefs with a guy, and the reason I bring this up, one of the reasons I bring this up, Chef Andre Rush, who's a former White House chef.
Yeah.
What are they called? Capybaras.
He'll be in town for a couple of days with a couple of different events that you can attend.
Look on
The guy looks like
my YouTube page. Well, actually, look on Wild Utopia. That's the name of the
I'm looking.
series and the company that does these features. That one was part of.
Is very sexy. Very sexy.
And with those muscles,
And
maybe a
that
little
guy,
more.
very, very, very sexy.
Well, you can check this out. Mott Community College Culinary Arts Institute is presenting it. Check them out online. MCC Events Online. They have this distinguished chef series with him coming in with a Future Chef's Lunch on Wednesday, April 2nd.
Capybarra, Capybaras.
Culinary Arts Institute. Then the Chef Rush Experience with a presentation and book signing comes at 5:30 that evening. And then Hands That Feed the Future is a gala that they're going to have the next day at the MCC Culinary Arts Institute, and you can attend it, you can sponsor it. There's a lot of things you can do with it, but check it out online if you're at all interested. This guy, former White House chef, and clearly a very big-time bodybuilder. He is huge. He is huge, and it's all muscle. I bet you when he goes to flip an egg, it ends up on the ceiling.
Probably yes.
Anyway, it's 8:34 right now.
The Foxhole Morning Show. Johnny Burke and Steph still to
All
come.
right, Friday Morning Primal Scream is immediately next here on the Fox.
And it's a service of TLC Spray Foam Solutions. Consumers bill crazy. I know the feeling. Call Ted and Joe at TLC Spray Foam Solutions. With 20 years experience in the industry, they can remedy the problem from the roof to the basement or the crawl space. They can make your home more efficient. Call them 810-701-7464.
Direct it rich. When you're digging
Tina loves pie.
second at Eagle Landing,
She's just now catching up with her chat. The chat is way behind on Tina's reception. I guess way behind. Okay, well, let me give you one more that Tina will now be able to answer when we get to 9 o'clock and we're already done. This is the last one for our group of tweets today. Comes from Meredith, who says, tuna melts are wrong because tuna should never be hot. Tuna melts are wrong because tuna should never be hot. See where we're at here now before we get to the traffic. All right, I guess we're there. Seem to be all right there. We're good. All right. We're okay there. Chris loves tuna melts. They do look like a big prairie dog, don't they, Sheila? The thing that Steph was so surprised about when it was first brought up in discussion way earlier this morning was the size of them. She thought they were way smaller than they actually are. Now she's finding out they're also way more expensive than she ever thought they'd be.
Here to help you get the car you need at a price you'll love. Your road to summer adventure starts at RPM Auto Sales.
Book your next adventure from Flint Bishop on Allegiant. Now offering nonstop flights to Destin, Newark, and
But again, the last of these today is
and other Florida hotspots. Ultra low fares make getting away easier.
tuna melts are wrong because tuna should never be hot.
At Menards, you need reliable and energy-efficient appliances to conquer the day. Menards is your one-stop shop with the largest in-stock appliance selection ready to take home today. Check out our top appliance brands including KitchenAid, Whirlpool, Maytag.
Sheila is also a tuna melt fan.
Money on Whirlpool appliances at Menards. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now. Save big money at Menards. Gross mower sales in New Lothrop is your local headquarters.
Tuna time for Upsuka. It's going to be tuna time for Tina when we get to 9 o'clock, because that's when she's going to finally get the chat coming around to where she can read it. Apparently it's way slower, though. What the hell is it that, like, slow as molasses getting to New Jersey? Our YouTube feed. I don't get it. Wonder if it'd be faster if you were on, like, Facebook or Twitch, Tina. Everybody's on YouTube, but maybe it's more advantageous to be one of the other ones. It's real crowded over here on YouTube. That might be slowing traffic, both on the road and on the texts. Just ahead of the Friday morning primal scream, we are still taking a look in Vienna Township at the slowdown spot on Vienna Road because of a crash. This is on Vienna Road east of Webster Road. At the moment, the only problem point that we can find. And throughout the day, if you are wanting to keep yourself updated on other problem points, Vehicle City Traffic Info is at classicfox.com for you /traffic to do that. And if you spot a crash, let us know. 810-230-WRSR. That's 810-230-9777 to be a traffic tipster right here on 103.9 The Fox. That means it's time for us to go scream.
Screaming this morning. Jimmy Kimmel and Elon Musk. Apparently Kimmel endorsed the vandalization of Tesla, and Elon called him an unfunny jerk. So it's a big start. Which is actually the nicest thing anybody's ever said about Jimmy, by the way. Point that out. There's a lot of things to scream about, most assuredly the weather.
Yeah.
First day of spring comes along and
The sun's out.
Yeah. And it's going to be all
For now.
30-some degrees today. Or 50. No, today's going to be 54.
50, yeah.
Today's going to be nice.
Glass half full, Johnny.
Fine. I have no problem. But look at the weekend weather. Tomorrow's high is going to be, well, tonight's low 29, tomorrow's high 34. We're screaming.
All right.
No, I don't want to do that. Do you want to eat sushi? No, I don't want to do that. Do you want to go to Illinois? No, I don't want to do that. Do you want to do a shot with me?
Yeah.
And today is also National Healthy Fat Day.
Healthy fat day?
Celebrate your healthy fat. So that'll turn
It's all healthy.
It's all healthy. Yeah, we're all healthy. It's also National Vermouth Day, which should make that a little easier. National Teenager Day. There's something to scream about. National Countdown Day. I have no idea what that means. Is there something? I have no idea why it's Countdown Day. Maybe teach us all how to count backwards.
I got it.
No, I don't want to do that. Do you want to talk to Ziggy? No, I don't want to do that. Do you want to fall down? No, I don't want to do that. Do you want to watch soccer? No, I don't want to do that. Do you want to go to prison? No, I don't want to do that. Do you want to get a haircut? No, I don't want to do that. Do you want to swallow poison? No, I don't want to do that. Do you want to get in a hot tub full of blackberry brandy with Cindy Crawford?
She called in sick.
Only a spot, Cindy.
Yeah.
By the way, I said it's National Healthy Fat Day.
Yeah.
But it's also, this story comes out today. Apparently a study just published. Nearly 42% of U.S. adults are now obese.
I think that's low, actually.
They're all at Walmart. When I count at Walmart, there's way more than 42%.
Yeah. Like I said, that was low.
So no matter where you are, what you're doing, we've got Joe from the Anything for a Buck sales staff in the house, too.
You ready, Joe? Otherwise known as Dr. Dealgood.
We're all going to scream today. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3.
isn't having enough problems. They just recalled nearly all Cybertrucks. Because the roof panels can detach while driving. It's dangerous. I mean, if the roof blows off, people could see you in a Cybertruck.
According to the annual World Happiness Report, Americans are less happy than ever. The U.S. now ranks 24th on the happiest list. They say it is our lowest ranking since they've been measuring. Yet, why are you even ranking us? Leave us alone. Are you happy? I'll kill you. That's how happy I am.
Edible Arrangements is going to start selling actual edibles. Meanwhile, Cracker Barrel was like, we shouldn't.
It's interesting to see how people process a breakup, though. You know, some people, their whole life shuts down when a relationship ends. If you've ever had a friend like this, you probably had the chance to be the person who tries to, like, rehabilitate them, like, get them back out there again, which basically just is you lying to them a lot. Honesty is not the thing they need, you know? I don't understand. How did this happen, Drew? Yeah, obviously she thought she could do better. I think if that weren't the case, she would still be with you. But based on how she's not with you, it would lead me to believe that she thought she could do better than you. Does that make sense? I'm smart, I'm handsome, I'm charismatic. Well, yeah, but you're not maxed out in any of those things. There's still room for improvement, alright? I wish I'd been more confident around her and been more fun. Yeah, you totally should have. Why didn't you think of that earlier? That might have worked.
And thank you very much for your attendance and your attention, including Patsy, who is attending now from South Georgia in the springtime. Hopefully your spring weather is a little more in keeping with the season than what we have here. Been talking for the last 2 days about the fact that we left winter behind, and it's blue sky and 70-degree temperatures that we had 2-3 days in a row, in order to be able to move on into the Michigan spring, which consists of yesterday, rain and snow, and then probably tomorrow morning, in the overnight hours, more of the same. Snow in the spring. But it's in Michigan, so we've learned to adapt because we're tough. That's why we live here. All right, guys, thank you very much for your attendance and your attention and being here to help kickstart the weekend. And hopefully it's going to be a nice, pleasant, peaceful, productive weekend for you. Comfortable, whatever you consider to be comfortable. And we'll come back here Monday morning. And since it's Monday is going to be another one of our simul-stream days. So pick out either YouTube or Facebook or Twitch. Join us on one of them. Whichever you're on today is probably the one you'll choose. And then we'll come back and have some more fun with your friends, the Hal Raisers, here in the Hal Hole next Monday. Okay? Okay.